you kind of game plan. So that's a lot easier studying just the game plan than studying the whole playbook. But overall, I'm doing pretty good with it.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Ed Encina.
Hi, LeSean. With everything that happened yesterday with the NBA, a few games in Major League Baseball, other leagues across the country, did you come in today wondering whether you guys would practice today? And was there what was any discussion like amongst players about coming to a decision about potentially practicing, not practicing, and then what kind of came of that?
Well, I think that's the biggest thing that we've kind of discussed. And it was short because we come in so early here in Tampa to kind of beat the sun. So we practice so much earlier than other teams. But let's talk about, man, we're feeling we're hurt. We're hurt with everything we're seeing, and we constantly keep seeing. And we want to answer, but as a group, that's something we have to talk about. Like, what's the best way to kind of get our message across and be productive? We don't want to just say these things and say this, say that. We want to actually go out there and be productive. And as a unit, as a group, with all colors, all teammates, to try to make a difference, and the tough part is there's no real answer for them questions yet, but hopefully together we can send a message out, and whatever that may be. But BA talked about it, today as a group. How can we find a solution, answer to make our statement? Because I'm not sure if just, not practicing, what does that do? We want to have a real stand, and we want to, paint a picture that everybody could understand and comprehend. So that's just the tough part, But I think eventually, as the older guys and the team, we come together. We've been talking about it, but it'll pick up more, and hopefully we'll have a great solution.
And you talked about how that was a quick discussion. You obviously, trying to get on the practice field, get ready for a day. I mean, how would you describe, that discussion though? Was it, emotional? Was it, you're bringing so many guys in on one thing and trying to come to a thing as a team,
It's tough. It really is, man, because you're like, people forget that. I mean, obviously it's a sport, and there's fans and et cetera, but this is our job, so we come here trying to do our job, and it's hard to overlook the things that's happening in our country. I love my country, but there's so many things that we can do better, and we all, especially a lot of the African-American players, we feel that because we come from them environments, where it's not safe, and you kind of want to call the police when there's an issue, and hope that it'll get resolved, and not resolved in killings. So you keep constantly seeing it, and it's not okay. So when we have these conversations, guys are emotional, because that could be. I mean, we are who we are, right? But we could be some of them people, that doesn't really have a voice, or they're losing their lives. Like, it's really tough. So that's the kind of conversation, man. To be honest, is real touchy. And it's like you keep saying it. It's one thing if you hear about it, but you're actually on tape, and then you could rewind it and see it. So it is tough. I mean, it's tough to be a black kid and as a kid and see that. You know what I mean? So those are touchy topics.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to be Jenna Lane.
LeSean, along those lines, were you surprised yesterday the fact that NBA teams canceled playoff games? It just seems like this year too, athletes are finding their voice more and more. It seems like athletes are fighting back from this notion that they're just supposed to shut up and drivel. They're making people see their humanity. What are your thoughts on all that?
We really just want to bring light to it. I mean, to the issues. I think that a lot of times we get wrapped up in just our career, that we play ball, we make good money. As a kid, you probably grew up a Lakers fan or a Clippers fan or wherever it is, because sports that's the thing when you're a child. But when you really look at the overall picture, we have a platform, we have a voice. We want to make that clear that, hey, man, this is not okay. People love to just kick back, get a drink, watch the games, enjoy themselves. For them, that's like a time of rejoice, or a time of just to relax. So why not make that clear at that time? Like, hey, we know people love to watch games, but right now there's a bigger issue. that there won't be no games, so I can see their message that they were trying to paint, and to get across to make awareness. It's so wrong. I mean, it's so many great things about this country, man, but certain things we can't take, and over and over and over again. So I think a lot of ball players are really just stating how they feel, by using their voice, by using their platform, by constantly over and over addressing it.
What went through your mind? Because I know so many of us saw that video online and it was so troubling. What went through your mind when you saw that? It just seems like we continue to see them over and over again, but it's still incredibly difficult each time you see it happening.
I mean, it's like, I just don't get it. I really don't. Okay, so the first time it happened is wrong, right? But you keep over and over and over doing it. It's like, what didn't you learn from the last case? Like killing a man is wrong. But the people after the fact, they keep watching it, keep seeing it. It's like you see what's going on and people are talking about it. People are addressing it. They're making people more aware. And you still are killing innocent people, unarmed. I mean, so stuff like that is just hard to understand. Even that video. Now, I guess people were saying that, the guy was going to the car and et cetera. There's so many more answers you could have did. Tackle the guy. You had him outnumbered. Tackle him. Tase him. Something. But killing and shooting him 7 times, that's come on, man. That's uncalled for. There's no reason why he should have shot him 7 times. I have a lot of cop friends that I'm close with, and we talk about these things. And I always ask them, well, man, in this situation, in this scenario, what would you have did, or what should have happened? And like, if a guy doesn't have a weapon or doesn't seem like he has a weapon, drawing your weapon should never be the answer. And I like that situation that recently just happened. I think that they could have just tackled the guy. If you thought he was going to his car to get a weapon or whatever you thought, but not shoot him 7 times. I mean, that's uncalled for, because that could have been your child. You got to think about that as a cop. That could have been my son. That could have been his son. And you don't want nobody treating your child that way. So that's just the hard part to really look at it, because you can get angry watching it over and over again. So I struggle with that.
Thank you so much.
Our next question is going to come from Steve Isbitz.
LeSean, to switch it back to the Bucs, what do you like about the makeup of this team now that you've been around for a while and really gotten to soak it in?
Well, as I look at this team, especially the offense, I don't see any flaws. I mean, there's obviously we can get better, and there's days where a group doesn't do well. But overall, I mean, the biggest thing that jumps out is the offensive line. Them guys are good. They play well together. They communicate. They're tough. They're a smart group. That's rare. It's always like up and down. Maybe this side is really, really smart and this side is really, really physical, or vice versa. But they're all together. They're solid. I mean, you take a Hall of Fame quarterback who gets the ball out quick, who knows where to go with the ball, can pick apart the defense, can read the coverages and read the blitzes. Then the wide receivers, you guys are the real deal. Tight ends. And then the backfield, you got all that going on as a running back. All these years I played, it makes it easier when you have so much going on the outside, where you can just you get your yards in there, with a light box. As in no defenders really preparing for the run. Rojo, I mean, he's one of the most talented running backs I've seen in a long time. It makes me remember to like when I was my second year. This is how just naturally quick, acceleration, agility. He has a lot of them tools, man. He's really, really good. I mean, he's some things he can work on. I think all of us, but I think collectively as a group we can help each other out. So as an offense, man, I'm really excited, and I'm prepared to have a good year this year. I really do.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Luke Easterling.
LeSean, Tom Brady's a quarterback who loves to throw the ball to the running back. How excited are you to take advantage of that role and to make some big plays because he's always looking for you?
Oh, I'm excited. I mean, I'm definitely going to pick myself up and Rojo on our fantasy this year. But just over the years, I mean, I remember just like watching. We used to play them guys like twice a year in Buffalo, and I was just always like, dang, if I was James White, I'm getting some runs, I'm getting a lot of catches. I would have a great day, you know. So now I'm actually playing with him. So I look forward to it. We have a lot of communication as far as just getting the running backs in space. There's sometimes we might have a play and Tom might look over and say, hey, you know, beat him in the man route. And you get stuff like that with your quarterback. That lets you know that he's going to you, you know. So it'll be a first. It'll be definitely a first where the running backs are really targeted a lot in the offense. And I've been with, you know, Coach Reed, who throws the ball a lot also, but not as much where quarterback is like eye to eye level with the running back. Like, hey, you know, get this first down. So that's obviously something it's going to work out. And it's pretty cool for us.
And obviously, you talked about your, you know, what it was like in your second or third year in the league. What is the biggest difference between how you approach the game now as you did then, and what would you tell yourself back then that maybe you've learned since then?
It's funny, man. Like a lot of questions that the running backs ask me now, those are questions I would ask Westbrook or older player. And I think just being smarter. I'm so much more smarter than I was back then. Just I was so good that I didn't think it mattered. Like, this guy's not gonna tackle me. I mean, you know. But now it's like reading my blocks, setting guys up, making it easier. Maybe a juke move I don't have to make now. I just kind of read the blocks, set the guy up, get my block on, then cut back. Small things in the pass pro, teaching the guys, hey, listen, you know, some things in football is common sense. Like, why is the linebacker way out there? You know what I'm saying? Is he coming? Is he not? Like, small things, knowing what to read, the defensive alignment, what technique they are in, you know, because everybody I was teaching the guys, everybody has a gap on defense, you know, and they have to always follow the rules, you know, and when you see guys not in their gap, somebody's got to come back there. So just teaching small things. I think if I would tell myself from now to back then, just be smarter, learn the plays better, know more than just my job. Where now I want to know the offense. So if somebody's out of place, I can make myself right. You know what I mean? We could help the play. Things like that. You know, but as far as the physical, just take care of your body. Because there'll be a year, if you get lucky, you'll reach 10 years and you still might want to play. You can't really do that if you're banged up. So that would probably be the biggest coaching point from now to back then.
All right, next is going to be James Palmer.
Shady, I think you're the only person that knows this, so I got to ask you, compare a practice working with Pat Mahomes to a practice working with Tom Brady.
Man, that's a good question. Pat's the real deal too. I think the difference is Coach Reed runs a lot of the like Pat will talk if he wants things done right, but Tom is like, and he's 43, so he has like a player in him and like a coach in him. Where Pat is still like he's still a kid.
Yeah.
So Pat will come in there and we'll be focused. And he'll make a couple jokes, but he'll get focused. You know, and practicing with him, I would say that's more the classroom. But practicing with him, I would think Pat is still like athletic. Pat'll have a play where he'll run around and fling it downfield. It'll be accurate. You know, it's the right read. I think Tom is more like precise. Okay, boom, boom, I know the reads. Boom, catching it 3 steps. Bang, I know where I'm going with it. So they're different. They're different, but they're similar in dominating and being competitive. They're kind of similar. I told Tom the other day, I was open on the pass. Me and Gronk was open on the pass. And obviously, he threw it to Gronk, obviously. But he looked like he was throwing to me, right? And they looked at me the whole time and then threw it to Gronk. And I was like, dog, there's only been 2 players I've ever seen do that, you and Pat. So now I'm better with it because a lot of players are like, man, Tom sometimes looks at me, doesn't throw it to me, throws it to the other guy. For the defense, to kind of get the defense off balance. I say, yeah, but I'm kind of used to it because Pat does it all the time. You know what I mean? So that's probably the similarities and some of the differences, I think.
Cool.
All right, that's all for today. Appreciate you taking the time, Sean.
All right, guys, yep.
Somebody might want to tell Shady that he's still